Many of you may not use Reddit, but for those of you who have and have in the last 4 or 5 years, you will probably be well aware of the Donald. Now, the Donald has been banned from Reddit, but it had a pretty profound influence on it during its about 5-year stay. And in this video, I just want to talk about the history of the Donald, and then talk about how it helped organize Charlottesville, and talk about where it is now, because sadly, the Donald does still exist as its own website, and that to me is very, very sad, because I can understand using Reddit as a platform and the Donald, if you're a Trump supporter, being one of the subs you visit, but now you've literally got to go sign up for a completely separate site just to talk about Donald Trump, and we're going to get a good look at some of the stuff they still talk about. But before we get any further, if you want to support the channel, please like the video, maybe subscribe to the channel as well, maybe share the video, and if you want to support me on Patreon, the link is in the description. So to start with, we're going to go through the history of the subreddit, and then I'm going to show you a glimpse into the world of the subreddit in 2018, because I actually made a video back in the day and just recorded myself going through some of the top posts, so I'm going to post a bit of that in there. But let's get this started. So on the 27th of June 2015, shortly after Donald Trump announced his campaign for the presidency, the subreddit was created as a place to follow news related to Donald Trump. The subreddit grew to be known for frequent posting of memes like Pepe the Frog. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is also where the God Emperor Trump meme came from. So it started to see a surge on June 12, 2016. On the day of the Orlando nightclub shooting, moderators of r/news subreddit began to remove many comments from its mega thread about the shooting, which led to accusations of censorship, where a lot of people went over to the Donald, which was featured in 13 of the top 25 posts on all that day and gained over 16,000 subscribers during the weekend of the shooting, while news lost 85,000. Due to deliberate manipulation by the forum's moderators and active users, the algorithm that dictated what content appeared on the r/all page of Reddit resulted in significant portions of the page being dominated by the Donald content. And this actually led to Reddit changing its algorithms it used for this. So the subreddit also hosted AMAs with popular conservative figures like Tucker Carlson, Ann Coulter, Alex Jones and Milo Yiannopoulos, and Trump himself even did an AMA on the subreddit. Now this is pretty ironic. On November 22nd, 2016, this is after Trump won the election, the moderators of the Donald announced that they were going to start removing posts about some conspiracy theories such as Pizzagate. So that was just a quick history and a quick glimpse at what these guys do. Now just take a quick look at me scrolling through their subreddit back in 2018 to see how delusional and insane this subreddit was. So here it is. So for this part of the video, I'm just going to be going on the Donald and looking at various posts they've put there, whether it's, the top posts of the year and just general, stuff they post every day. So here is one of my favorite posts that I went through. So it was about just before the midterm elections, and someone posted a picture of Trump walking on his own, and you'll see all the delusion in these comments. It actually is pretty funny, but it's also pretty scary. So the post reads, "This man works for free. He works relentlessly into all hours of the night." Is this like some sort of fucking joke, because Trump barely works at all? He just watches TV most of the time. He barely even pays attention. He is attacked daily by a party of freeloading laggards who have accomplished nothing. He works with a single goal in mind: to save this nation from disaster. Support him on November 6th and vote Republican across the board. So how ridiculous and how deluded you have to be to think Trump works really hard for a single goal, to save this nation. Trump does not give a shit about anything like that. It's so obvious. It's why these people are so stupid. A con man, criminal, businessman, never cares about anyone but himself and getting rich. That's why he scams people with things like universities and casinos. That's not the actions of someone who wants to save this country. This is some of the comments in this are so crazy. So, this man will never walk alone, and the replies are, "Beautiful fields, man." And here's my favourite: "I wish they could allow 1 or 2 Trump supporters to walk with him to and from the helicopter so he's never alone. Wouldn't that be awesome? I'd be honoured to do that." He's walked to the White House from Marine One in this pic, right? So, oh my god, that is like a cult. You have these members following you everywhere, making you look better, and it's so, imagine how pathetic you have to be honoured to walk behind Trump from his helicopter so he's never alone. Oh my god, it's absolutely so embarrassing. And when you have this other thread where someone says, "Amen, we love him and we're also thankful for him," and people are like, "I hope people come through big for POTUS. God bless Donald Trump," and all this fucking crap. Oh, and this one's kind of long. long, but this one's fucking hilarious as well. So here's a comment. The pictures of him alone make me feel kind of sad for him sometimes, thinking about everything he's up against and the lies the left that convince half the country of. He has given up everything, he's doing a fantastic job, and they still say the most horrible shit about him. If the media was fair, can you imagine the love affair the country would have with him? If the left could get out of their own way and see what we see? I love that he's doing rallies right now so he can see how appreciative all of us are. When he called into Rush Limbaugh, I was so glad that Rush took the time to say, do you know what you mean to these people? Because I honestly don't know how he does it or where he can go to see that we're still with him, but thank God he finds a way. Sheesh, can you imagine where we'd be now if Hillary Clinton had won? Scary. So, you know, this is so crazy. They think we're so deluded, people in the world, for not loving a genuinely racist person who pursues racist policies, who locks immigrants' kids up in camps on the border as a matter of policy, separates them from their family. Loads of them have been abused by ICE guards, some have gone permanently missing, some have died, little 2 and 3 year olds standing up for themselves in court alone. Do you think, you're a good person for seeing this, or you think, we can't see what you see? You're racist people who are trying to look back to a country that doesn't exist anymore, a country, America in the 1960s. So yeah, like I said, delusional and insane and funny if these weren't real people. And I also want to say, despite the Donald having about, I think, 700,000 users by the time it was banned, I honestly think these must have been a lot of bots, because if you looked at similar subreddits like prequel memes and the Avengers meme subreddit that popped up, these guys had less users, but their posts would get significantly more traffic and would get upvoted a lot more. This was even before the Donald was quarantined, so I'm pretty suspicious that they actually had as many users as they claimed to. Probably don't need to remind anyone what Charlottesville was, the Unite the Right rally, which involved a lot of violence. It led to the murder of Heather Heyer and was obviously a really dark chapter for America, because you had a neo-Nazi march, extremely racist on the surface, and the president of the US wouldn't condemn it. Well, it turns out the Donald actually helped organise it and urged its users to go, and they did acknowledge that they would be going to the Unite the Right rally with a lot of neo-Nazis and a lot of the alt-right, and you'll be able to see from the posts and from the comments, they didn't care about this. They were happy to ally with them. So thankfully this page has been archived so you can actually read it, but we're going to go through it together. So as you can see, it's archived, so it's got the Donald imagery. So it says, Unite the Right protest opportunity in Virginia. In 1 week, various groups will gather for the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville to protest the sale and removal of a General Lee statue at Lee Park. Another title, Totalitarians must destroy the past and we must stop them. SJWs, communists and Islamists all have something in common, that the people they rule over must not know that other ways of life exist beside their own. This is designed to break the will of the people they rule over. Without an identity of their own, without the culture we're fighting for, the people will succumb and latch on to the tyrannical culture imposed over them. Rather than pontificating, here are numerous examples of totalitarians destroying the past so they control the present. And it is very funny, they put Nazi book burnings in here, and they go on to say, the case of General Lee's statue is the same as all the others. They are destroying the symbols of those things they hate with the goal destroyed and replacing the culture it represents. That doesn't really sound like a bad thing when it comes to the Confederacy. And then it quotes, if we want to live in a peaceful society and not be harassed for being born as who we are, we have to get out there and let them know that the destruction of American culture is unacceptable. So here is the acknowledgement that they know this is a predominantly Nazi thing. So a disclaimer, I want to be perfectly clear with you guys that many of the people who will be there are National Socialists and ethno-state sort of groups. I don't endorse them. In this case, the pursuit of preserving without shame white culture, our goals happen to align. I will be there regardless of the questionable company, because saving history is more important than our differences. This is probably why they named the event Unite the Right. Speaking for myself only, I won't be punching right, we need to save civilization first. We can argue about the exact details later. So that doesn't really seem like a group of people who are too opposed to Nazism and fascism. They might cite Nazi book burnings, but then they have no problems working with National Socialists and ethno-state type groups, as they say, to preserve Confederate statues and to preserve white supremacist culture. So let's go into the comments. So quoting the bit about allying with these people to preserve white culture, the comment says, this is what we must do, no more infighting, I don't agree with them, they likely hate me, but not as much as we hate the communist left and how much they hate us. We're all fascists to them anyway, it doesn't matter if you're an ANCAP. If they seize the power, you'll be up against the wall just the same. So I go down a bit further, you have someone called Burn More Coal saying, if you support the removal of Confederate monuments, the Washington and Jefferson memorials are next. After all, they were all white males who had slaves. They rebelled against the Central Powers too. The communists can't have examples of that hanging around. All hail the glorious central bureaucracy, for it knows all and is always right. Let's be honest, had we lost the Revolutionary War, the English Caliphate would now be saying it was a failed uprising predicated on the preservation of slavery. Isn't that lovely? Just drop in some casual racism saying England is a caliphate because it has a higher percentage of Muslims than the US. Always remember the victors get to write the history books and then to ram it up your arse via Commie Core, and then he says that the Confederacy weren't traitors. But just a reply to this comment, just to show you some more delusion, we love Trump 2016. We live in a time where supporting the President Trump can get you beaten or even killed by the radical left. I don't remember that ever happening. It's one thing to say you believe in free speech, it's another to stand up for the First Amendment in the face of thousands of violent Marxists. If the leftists can shut down this event, then they will shut down ours too through the same intimidation and literal terrorism. Again, these guys are absolutely insane. This rally is a matter of civil rights and preserving American history and heritage. Either we have a constitutionally protected free speech or we already live in tyranny. We cannot allow BLM and Antifa terrorists to succeed in demolishing our rights to speak and peacefully assemble. Unite the Right in Charlottesville will be a massive and historic event. It was. What will you tell your grandchildren when they ask where you were when right-wingers united and told the left that enough is enough? Be there, even if to make new friends and feel the pride of living your values. Again, these guys are clearly sympathetic to fascism and white supremacy. They might pretend they don't like the National Socialists standing up for white culture, but then they go on to say, what will you tell your children if they ask why you weren't at a neo-Nazi rally? If you can't make it the event yourself, find ways to support those who either are by donations on crowdfunding websites or other means. Let others know that the world will be watching one of the biggest moments in US history since Trump's inauguration. Someone else says, so glad this got sticky. And to those of you who don't like the alt-right, well guess what? The left is going to call us, like they've always been, racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, Uncle Tom alt-righters. Anyway, might as well wear it. I mean, what happened when we wore the term deplorable as a badge of honour. So here's one more. Someone says, do not punch right. It's sad how we've been brainwashed our whole lives to hate the idea of white people standing up for our own identity. Stop surrendering to the shit-lib narrative. The left is going to hate you no matter what you do or say. Stop counter-signalling people to your right for simply holding more traditional views and race and culture, National Socialist views. In all honesty, what the alt-right holds is basically the belief shared by our grandparents. Were they all evil racists too? Probably in your case. The fact is, in another generation, white people are going to be hated minority in this country. You better wake up, snap out of shit-lib Hollywood anti-white narratives and start becoming ethnically aware like every other people on earth. So yeah, there you go. Some very, very overt fascism, white supremacy in the Donald during the planning of Charlottesville. A lot of support for it. So very ironic they say they're not fascist and they reference Nazi book burning while saying they're going to go support a neo-Nazi rally. Now, amazingly, the Donald was not banned for this. That is so clear to see. And they only actually deleted the post in August of that year. So months after Charlottesville. But they weren't taken down. You can see from the mod team, they're urging people to join a neo-Nazi rally. People are all supporting it in the comments saying you should donate to people there if you can't go yourselves. Again, like in many other cases, Reddit totally failed here, but the Donald wasn't long for this world. So in June 2019, it was quarantined, so just reading what quarantine means. The Daily Beast article saying Reddit quarantined the Donald subreddit on Wednesday, citing threats made on the forum from Trump supporters against law enforcement, and they said, recent behaviours, including threats against the police and public figures, is content that is prohibited by our violence policy. As a result, we have actioned individual users and quarantined the subreddit. Of course, they probably should have done this after Charlottesville. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't. The new quarantine was brought on by the anti-police threats. Some users have apparently encouraged violence against law enforcement, angry that officials in Oregon were trying to bring back GOP senators who fled the state to avoid voting on a climate change bill. In a note to the Donald moderators, Reddit said they observed this behaviour in the form of encouragement of violence towards public officials in Oregon. So what quarantining means is that you cannot find the subreddit on mobile. You have to go on a desktop. I don't really know the proportion of people who use mobile compared to desktop, but from my own experience, the desktop Reddit absolutely sucks, so I'm never going to use it. I'm just going to use mobile. Of course, it's very easy for people as well if you're out all the time. And if you're on a radical subreddit like the Donald, maybe don't want to be whipping that up at work or something. So the traction on the sub probably declined a bit. The Donald was eventually banned along with various left-wing subreddits. I actually can't believe they were all banned using the same justification, like Chapo Trap House, for example, because they're nowhere near as bad. They're not even comparable. I showed you how the Donald was actively supporting Charlottesville and actively supports violence consistently. So this is back in June. So on Monday, Reddit decided to take action. The Donald is no more. The ban results from an update to Reddit's hate speech policies. Users must now abide by 8 new rules which prohibit, among other things, targeted harassment and revealing the identities of others. So that's the good part about deplatforming them, and I'm happy they're gone. But again, I don't know what Reddit was thinking. They've constantly enabled hate subreddits, they've constantly enabled all this violence, because why did they do that? Well, a couple of years ago, Reddit started ramping up the advertisements on their site. So obviously having one like the Donald, which is extremely popular, it's probably not good business to ban them and ban a significant chunk of the conservatives who go on Reddit. But can I just say that pretty much everyone who is in the Donald has now migrated to various other conservative subreddits. If you go on r/conservative on Reddit, it's not about conservative politics. It's literally just a Trump forum. There's nothing about real conservatism, even though I hate real conservatism as well. It literally is a Trump cult there as well. So I don't really see the difference, apart from you can't be as overtly violent and racist as these guys were. But let's look at the sadness that is the Donald site. They're just all so sad now. Donald Trump has lost the election, and like many other conservative forums or conservative Twitter, they can't seem to accept reality, and they're all flocking to OAN and Newsmax and all this stuff. So I'm just going to read you a couple posts to end the video. So just quoting Trump's tweet, rigged election from today, and people saying, yes, it was. Love it when Giotis is in his high energy state. Rigged election. PA blocked the results of the rig, sir. Now Georgia, Wisconsin and Arizona. Rigged as fuck, give them hell, Giotis. Give them hell. Yes, it was 70+ million witnesses and backups Trump 2020. All of America saw Trump's huge lead at the time when the counting stopped and the ballot dumps began. 340 million witnesses. Oh my god. This stuff and this propaganda being fed is so crazy that because of the mail-in ballots, they think there was some election fraud where they saw Trump winning and they just dumped a load of votes for Biden on all these states. Biden crushed Trump in the end. 6 million more in the popular vote. Won the Electoral College as well. Better than Hillary Clinton. The most votes a president ever got. I don't like Biden and I think he's going to be a bad president. But again, these guys, it's seriously a cult. And it reminds me of the Brexit cult in the UK. So just one more, here's another tweet. Majority of Republicans say they would vote for Trump in 2024. And then Trump says, but 2020 is a long way from over. Comment saying, he won 2020. If we fix FDR's fuck up, we will vote for him in 2024 as well. Also, John Solomon fails to realise that if the steal isn't stopped, we are never getting another Republican elected again. Another one saying, this 2024 talk is bullshit used by the media to try and convince Trump to leave and run again. Once Trump leaves the office, the establishment will try and destroy him. They will get him with fake charges and an all manner of dirty tricks. And I also still love they're still maintaining Trump isn't the establishment, despite being president for 4 years and literally just hiring the most establishment people you can from Fox News or from the Bush administration. That ends it for this video. As you can see, the Donald started as a delusional subreddit and it still lives on as a delusional subreddit away from Reddit. Of course, it's a good thing it has eventually been banned. I don't agree, obviously, with justification that it's been banned in line with left-wing groups like Chapo Trap House, like they're even the same. As you've seen, they helped organise parts of Charlottesville. They justified why it was okay to ally themselves with neo-Nazi groups. And from the rhetoric in the subreddit, they pretty much didn't even have a problem with National Socialism, literally parroting everything they would say about the Unite the Right rally. And obviously, if we're looking at this through the economics of it, why did Reddit not ban them sooner? Like I said before, it's all about ad money. It's all about generating more revenue from the site through more user interaction. And with the Donald being one of the most popular political subreddits, it obviously helped their revenue. It is kind of funny to go back in time when the Trump cult wasn't just basically QAnon and they were more just like traditional Nazis and stuff, but it's insane how they've all just merged into this one real group of lunatics. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you remember the Donald? Do you have an experience with anyone who used to, go on it? Please like the video, maybe share, maybe subscribe to the channel as well. If you want to find me on social media, at the Kavernacle on Twitter and on Instagram. Also, check out my subreddit, r/the Follow my personal Reddit, u/TommyCahill1995. Also, come and join my Discord. The link is in the description. Check out my Patreon, check out my podcast, check out my Medium, check out everything in the description as well. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.